TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready to just Winternomics. Welcome. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready to just Winternomics. Welcome. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready to just Winternomics. Welcome. Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics.eth. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready to just Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, 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 winter. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics.eth. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready to just Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, 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 winter. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics.eth. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready to just Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, winter, winter. Welcome. Winter, winter, Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, winter, winter. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly.
Fuck it. Mask wasn't feeling that black and white shit today. What's good in the hood, motherfuckers? It's a holiday shortened day. This is Requiem of the fucking dead. I think you know why we called it that shit today, don't you? So what up? How's everybody doing? 90 peeps on a holiday day. Didn't think I'd see that many people if you show up. Yeah, gotta go with the clone gang. Gotta go with the clone gang, you know. Fuck all the hate. I'ma still rock it. I own it. This is my nigga. So you already know. What up? What up? What's good? What up, Digital Daniels? Shout out SC Crypto Dave and everybody flinging some bits in the morning. I always appreciate that. Izzy, peace outside Kurosh, Kenichi. What a crazy fucking first half of the year, huh? Man, dead people don't shut the fuck up. They got a lot to say, apparently. Oh my gosh, let's see. Where did I put this? There it goes. Got that one. Reload. Paid, sir. gotta ask. I don't know if you guys got it, but I don't think it was much to get on this one. What do you guys think of the glitch art for this one? Theme and stuff, on the back of what we're going to talk about, which is, the murder cluster chart today. That was kind of a pretty cool effect. A little dark for the holiday spirit, but I pretty much did the holiday type vibe with the Hopium show, kind of copying the Obama portrait and stuff like that. It wasn't red for psychological red. It was just my color scheme on the Hope picture for my version of it. So that was my holiday decor. So with the headlines that we had over the weekend, we wanted to touch on something different today. So we went with this kind of vibe. So what do you guys think? The red one's a dope one. That guy. That guy's fucking wicked. Gotta dig it, feeling it, maybe. A little too dark for the holidays. I'm only thinking that 6 cents little motherfucker. What do you call it? I see dead people, nigga. That nigga. What'd you say, Chester? Cool glitch art pops out. Oh yeah, I was trying to, I used some layering effects in there and did some things to kind of get that like moving, breathing type effect to it. It did come out kind of good. That's what I was going for, kind of like, real fucking like necro shit. So he said, I use my filter more than the founders do. Does anybody see the founders? The founders have spoken a combined between all three of them, I think like 12 times on their Discord ever. So I think I use a lot of more things than most people in CloneX do. I use my on Cyber more than people in CloneX do too, I am working on a new type of like art style that hopefully I can get to where I'm not too embarrassed and I can show it off, but working on cityscapes and stuff like that, in paper cutout styles, and just trying to learn some new things I'm trying to incorporate. So as you see, like, Heart of Darkness and stuff, I'm trying to incorporate new things I learned and, just keep it evolving. I don't really have a set style so much, so I don't even know what some of the stuff I'm looking at is called that I'm trying to like, learn, but just trying new shit to, hopefully keep it looking cool. Why not just dump CloneX as community founder stack? I don't need to dump this. I told you I own this bitch for life. This is my metaverse face. I don't give a fuck about CloneX beyond that. CloneX could die tomorrow, I'd still keep this shit. For me, it's not about CloneX. For many people it is, but for me, I couldn't give a flying fuck. I bought this face because I was being fucked up the ass in my main brand. I couldn't use my white helmet face mask, so I rebuilt a second brand underneath this face to be able to be public and work towards getting back my main brand. That was always the point of buying this clone. I was being screwed over. Most people don't realize that. So I built a different brand under Mooncat, under this guy, and then turned it to Real Nomics, which is the name of the show, and begin to try to advertise my fucking show again. So this was the face of my show to get it out there while I was pretty much being screwed out of Twitter. So that was the point. And so for me to help me recover my brand, I got back my main shit, got back my shadow accounts, all that stuff. So that was always a play for me. I had a different plan for my clone than most people, But yeah, I have many characters too. It's not just me, niggas. Something's not right here. What is it? You guys hear me right? Something is definitely not right over here. I swear to God, I never know what's gonna fuck up. So, did you guys see this? I posted it in the chat. We talked about it over the weekend. Thought this was pretty fucking sick. So for anybody that's been paying attention, I want to, so probably call on some like community help here. But we'll talk about it in a minute. So this is mass shooting analysis preceded the best first 6 months performance since 1983 for the NASDAQ. It's the best ever 6 month performance for the S&P 500 ever. It came before anyone realized AI wave and NVIDIA, while most still thought when waterfall. You know who fucking writes that stupid shit. I told you, what a sentiment read that, guys, right? Bitcoin 400, when waterfall, Benny Blanco don't miss, boy. That motherfucker talks on your country. You need to move the fuck out of your nation. He says Ukraine's going to be all right, leave. In SPY, as while the most still thought when waterfall in SPY, as the pump began to unfold. This is the first of its kind study, right? Murder cluster data for mass shootings didn't really exist, I think, until like 19 years ago when they began to really track it. I think that's how old the website data goes. And so there was no version of this prior to locate such a rotation, which is the biggest ever in the S&P. This is from the show on Void Dweller. Dope mask for it too, huh? This is the other see dead people's mask, right? Markets are emotional. When peeps get hit hard, they tend to withdraw from opportunity that would bring them back. So how many people are missing for the entire 6-month arc that looked away. This is exactly the right sentiment. When the arc is going to come, most people look away and fuck yourself out of a generational opportunity. A good amount of you in my Discord have done this move and are now part of the price of the missing population that gave rise to such an amazing value for the few that stayed the course and paid attention. And that is how markets work, right? It isn't your indicator. You had a half a year of watching me describe this fucking shooting cluster and fucking like evolve it all the way from we found it, and recognize this is 100% indicator. It goes to the tenets of what we said, right? Trends are built on the dead bodies of those too ignorant to get out of the way of their own biases. And bear markets ended mass graves, right? We make this reference to dead bodies all the time, and I think a lot of people think it's figurative, but the reality is it's literal. And it wasn't not literal until this, because I told you, in the bottoms of major bear markets, suicides go up tied to the market. People die, actually. Your influencers that run people, into the wrong sides of things and constantly keep doing it. Your crypto man Rands, your Kobe's. Those people have killed people. They have actually ended people's lives who have killed themselves. That's one reason Kobe closed his Twitter. Somebody killed themselves inside FTX that he sent over there. While he's getting paid 150 stacks to refer people, he's killing people. And that's the reality, is that no one fucking hears the dead, right? They don't tell no tales, unless you know how to listen, right? And so this is the tale they tell, right? The opportunities given to the living by the fucking bloodshed of the dead. And like we talked about, right, in wartime, the Dow 100 really amounts to fucking the biggest version of this. Let's go ahead and get that chart real quick for you guys. One sec. Damn it. That was flowing so good. Dow 100. Oh, confound it, Jackson. Where is it? All right, when we look at this chart, this OG chart, what happens inside these locations that allow for such massive markups if this logic we're telling you is true, right? We're looking at from the banking crisis on and the murder clusters from this leg. This is the OG chart from 2014. But what happens in here? They fucking nuked Japan. You want to talk about fucking murder cluster, motherfucker? I think Hiroshima and Nagasaki qualify as one of the biggest fucking murder clusters I ever fucking heard of, and that came out of it. Came out of it for Japan too. Japan pumped from 1950 to 1989. So these are just fractally larger versions of it, right? And the real reality is that fucking the opportunities for us to take advantage of come from people who are not in a position to do anything about it. And nobody's in a greater position to do nothing about a future opportunity than a dead motherfucker. So these wars are fucking integral for the fucking building of a nation, right? It's pretty wild when you think of it that way. But these are the biggest shooting clusters ever. The Vietnam War, World War II. And even from here, right, this is the end of World War I. And here's the pump from the dead bodies of World War I, the pump from the dead bodies of World War II, the pump from the Vietnam War, and the pump from the war on terror and the destruction of the Middle East. A million dead Iraqis to start this off. It's the craziest shit you'll ever see, but it's the first of its kind. And what I'd like, is if some of the communities can help me in the clips channel from the Void Dweller. I don't need them all, but the clip that ties in when we talk about like the Chinese New Year shooting, backwardation. I gave you a quick explanation about what backwardation meant about the logical states of the market, and that reflected in the outliers, taking the extreme action of shooting people, showing the interconnectivity of this entire mass of perception that is the markets, right? This is the probably the most extreme study in behavioral finance. And believe it or not, that Goomba, Robert Shiller, that's what he's famous for. He's famous for a call based on behavior on the stock market in the internet bubble and a housing crash. And that's the only thing man's ever gotten right. And given accolades forever for fucking missing a fucking entire fucking decade-long bull market. The reality is we called the bull market correctly, the banking crisis correctly, the crashes of crypto correctly, the bottoms of crypto correctly, the entire black swan events of last year from Luna to Celsius to FTX, and also timed the rotation of the biggest first 6 months of the S&P with the dead bodies of mass shootings. There is nobody who has all of that together. So I would like to make a video that's concise and gets to all of that, and I'd like to get the clips that kind of show the evolution that we covered it, get the piece about volatility, and then tied into the the shows that we also had at the bottom of last year in the summer when we had the Graveyard and we had Trail of Tears. And we outlined the dead buys at the bottom of crypto and timed the very bottom of crypto in the summer also, using the same logic before we actually found the murder cluster chart and made it completely fucking literal. So, yeah, anybody that's, don't kill yourselves right now, but this week I'd like to get it while the news stories about the best first half are there. That would be the best chance to kind of rebuild a brand after being ghosted for half a year and half a decade and no one really remembering the former great calls no one ever made. This is a new version of some shit no one's ever made, and I'd like to submit it to try to see if I can get a Nobel for it, because in the world of behavioral finance, I know there's nothing like this ever done. This is the pinnacle of behavioral finance, and this is proof of a concept that probably nobody wants to realize is true, but actually shows you just how literal prices people is, and one of our core tenets of our logic, it proves it in a way that can never be overlooked ever fucking again. That was a lot. I didn't smoke a bowl yet either, niggas. I actually have insanely good choices today. Let's see. We're going with fucking like anime bootylicious. Or I don't know what this is, but it's some other fucking thing. So I don't know. I think I'll make a salad bowl. Gotta get to work as a community and get all these clips. Spoke to Taiwan Swag again this morning. Hopefully he's about to help us out with this crazy shit going on. Market is open, so forgot to give you guys a little prep on that while I ran my stick. Let me open this up for you because it's not too late to get a gauge on where shit is. Oh yeah, what did Epic BCH rip? You guys play that? Gave you a killer trigger for that one, didn't I? Where's the fucking chart for this? Oh, it wasn't done on that thing. Anyways, let's just do stocks real quick and I'll get you back over there. We'll figure that out. Where the fuck are you? Oh, right. Oh, that's a lot. So, bull flag things. There's a projection we talked about last week. Here, NQs, right? Popped up here. Tesla had some crazy news over the weekend. Told you that Tesla FUD is crazy, right? That motherfucker about the FSD fucking shits on Tesla. Tesla Q. Those people have just not lost enough money to stop doing that stuff. We've been watching that for I don't know, when we first see Tesla Q motherfuckers, gotta say it's 2016 or something. They've been on that man's ass for quite some time. But my God, if you just buy his fucking car, you would do better. Stop trying to FUD that man. But there's your bull flag, and there's your rotation, and there's the FUD spike to fucking take another bunch of people off of it because the cars are killing people. It's a fucking lie. But yeah, so hopefully some of you play that. I know I said don't everybody FOMO it, but I just don't want you guys to all kill yourselves, but the sentiment reads are kind of there. Everyone looking for the top of stuff. It's silly. Apple's up in fucking the stratosphere. Apple Vision, new product. Go fuck yourself, Apple. God damn it, not again. It still fucking keeps happening. Nvidia, what's going on with that? Strong as fuck. So good rotation, right, to kind of open the day up. Qs, if you're watching them right now, I gave you guys a plan on this one. Dick rules popped up. You got a good clean base on this motherfucker. Give me a fucking thing. Probably stabilize on the top of this where you are right now, right? It's kind of congested, so don't kill yourself. Probably let him get clean of that motherfucker. If he's going to push again for the holidays, probably on top of this, whatever, scale of it, and then push up on top of that. So right now you got a good line in the sand with this. What's the high on that? 30, 70, 49. And be precise about your levels when you're this close, right? So yeah, he's got, don't kill yourself, right? He's got an expanding formation out of the last session. Dick rules, let him get above opening and clear this fucking resistance, and he probably can't push again. But be careful, it's a short day and it can be a little thin, okay? And then for you crazy fucking nano resolution motherfuckers over here, same thing applies, right? The top of that level is the triple Qs, level here. This is the pre-market for futures. So for futures, you can incorporate the bull flag you got before the, god damn it, something faster than this. Go faster, motherfucker. This, right? So this is the part you can't see in Qs. You can kind of use this in concert with the Qs. And we know that we have a level just over the top of this guy, right? So we have a level just like that on the Qs, which is that level over there. It's a little more extreme. I think I like that. Let's see. Where's that? Okay, that meets up with the second high here. Let's put him right up top where he is. That guy right there. So you can get clear on top of this, right? He can get room to go fucking nuts right above this. So he already checked that high from the session with the liquidity in the pre-market with no liquidity. That's a good spot to pay attention to. So if he gets himself the fuck up over here, you can get him to fucking probably do the same thing with the Qs, right? So looks good. All right, don't kill yourself though, it's a holiday. So, but yeah, there's your quick morning prep, my bad. Swear to God, if you guys understood how many different photo shoots I took, Gavin came and did a photo shoot. We did 3 different major ones, and that's the one I went with. So the creativity is getting tough to come out with a new theme every day on the back of 270 original pieces of art for this stuff. And then industrials have been not terrible. Where the fuck is it? God, I have so many fucking tabs up here. Am I retarded? Oh, there it is. So, fuck my life. Boy, I feel like I can't see where shit is anymore. Stocks. So this is the current way we opened up. Oh, man. See, that's not even necessary. I didn't set anything new today. And then you saw nothing happen. I don't know what that was. I didn't do that on purpose. I'm sorry. God damn it. But yeah, so Tesla, big bright spot. Not so much going on here. Some stuff in energy going around. Nvidia got a little strength still. You know, tech can get stronger if we break above the highs that we had just showed you guys. So, you know, keep your eyes out for that. Sorry about that crazy ass alert. It's never good. Forex Factory, what do we got today? Nothing great. Bank holiday today. Is it Canada Day? Does anyone even care it's Canada Day in Canada? You guys don't even care it's Canada Day. Canadians don't care about Canada. Let's see. What do I have over here? Nothing else. That was the same thing. I think I said, what do I have two of these open? Not necessary. All right. I don't know. Oh, yeah. I was looking for something here. Did I have it on this chart? Where is it? Oh, man. What chart is it on? I never know where stuff is. BCH, USDT. BCH, no, wrong chart. It's on Phoenix. BCH, USDT. No, it's going to be on Polo. God damn it. What chart was it on, guys? Phoenix? Always a nightmare. Now I don't know what chart I did it. You guys know that crazy call we just had the BCH play, but I can't remember what it's on. What was it on, guys? BCH, USDT. This drives me insane. I can never find shit. BCH, USDT. God damn it. The same thing happened last time. Maybe it's Bitstamp. No? Yes, it's Bitstamp. God damn it. So remember I told you? It leave really violently? See? I know how these guys pump. It's not subtle. And you want people to really buy your pump, you can't make it like flagrantly obvious. You just smash a ton of money behind it. It's too aggressive. And so people would never ever buy these things for sustained periods. But you make a lot of money. They always do this. They hit it with the fucking bazooka, and it's just like 2017, you know, it'll leave violently. So hope you guys got that sentiment read too, right? That was pretty spot on. All right. Good Lord. I sound like I'm baked, but I'm not. I'm about to get there though. Like some good dang. Oops. Bitstamp. Damn, you did know it. I didn't see it. Yeah, sorry about that. Didn't know where the hell that was. I don't know. There's so many goddamn places to put a fucking chart. Always looks really cool when a clone blazes. Gotta tell you. What is going on the screen, sir? Let's change you. This guy's having a problem. Winternomics TV 2, sir. Sorry, computer's doing weird things. One sec. All right, got it worked out there. All right, I want to turn that alert on. Where's the rest of my week? God damn it. We did even have fireworks. The Deathness return. It's so fucked up. I don't, every time you open a panel, it does that alert, but it's not one that's going off. It just does the one that last happened. So I can't stop it. If I had to open another tab, it's fucking possessed, man. I'm not doing that on purpose. What up, Joe Malomo? Synthwave on herb. I got some smoke the other day that reminds me of the 90s highs. One bowl high for hours. Right. So, okay, if you're in Cali and you just got that, I'm in New York and I just found that. It comes around like that. Like something is weird because it's been trash. And you don't matter where you go. It's just fucking a short-term, like, quick fix bud. And all of a sudden I got bud that knocks me out, makes me wake up baked after like literally 4 years of like completely not being able to find it. And it's popped up on both the West and the East Coast. And the guy who told me it's just a local farmer out on Long Island. He just does that. And he's like, I'm like, it's not coming from Cali. And he's like, no. I'm like, that's why. Because Cali's so mass production crazy. You can't get good shit out there. You know, it's like everyone who's doing like tonnage is just fucking like, you know, they're curing that shit 2 weeks and it's fucking gone. I was like, you need a good bud like cures like 2-3 months, not 2 fucking weeks. So nothing's in these weeds. Where the fuck is a lighter? Yeah, it's quite crazy. Gotta say. I know the clone lens doesn't do justice to the fucking blowout. Cali strips the weed. Well, they got crazy shit out there where they'll CO2 freeze the bud and fucking smash it and knock all the keef off to then make other products. So they de-keef your fucking bud. If you ever get bud from Cali sometimes, you see it's like fucking the cleanest weed. There's no keef on the skin. They just shook all this shit off. And then they take that to make like some of these like, you know, other like we concentrated shits. So it's like, you know, you're getting like your weed really fucked with out there. Anyways. So yeah, so when you guys get a chance, help me find the clips to build out a really good video. I'm thinking I'm gonna make one video and put it all together and put the graveyard vid highlight clip into it, the Trail of Tears, and one presentation, you know, because I know if you thread stuff, nobody reads the second and third post, and so I was gonna kind of thread those videos, but I really want this to be tied together in a way that you cannot overlook, like what it took to figure this out, put it in the show, and bet on it in November when it's the first time I really found the data and say like, yeah, based on all the other logics we use, this is it, this is gonna work. And you know, it worked. It's an insane call from when you look at where that is in the end of November to what's happened today. And the sentiments were, you know, looking at the market and overlooking NVIDIA, overlooking AI. It's beyond calling AI, right? It's calling something that nobody would ever dare look at to say this is valid in markets. And if you motherfuckers are dying, we're buying. It'll always be the craziest slogan ever. I don't know if you guys want to say that past this show, but it is definitely the call of the century among like lots of calls of the century I've had. It's the most unique one I think I've ever done. And like I told you, like, you know, analysis is an art form and one that, you know, few people care about on the levels that we do to do it. So anyways, the puzzle is always very interesting. You know, that's the main thing about it for me is like solving the puzzle in ways that people can't believe that the universe works, that you could ever take something like that and relate it to another system like that. It's like mind blowing, you know? So anyways, I wouldn't go telling anybody that slogan. I mean, it's really catchy. Maybe put on the bumper sticker or something like that. But I don't think you want to reference the murder chart like right when you tell them that. But like, it's pretty crazy. Numbers today. Do we got numbers today? Let me check. I thought I just looked at Forex Factory. I didn't see shit. 10 a.m. ISM manufacturing. So that's in 18 minutes. So yeah, pay attention to that, right? What am I on here? Sir. Okay. So yeah, ISM probably can do some jarring stuff, so pay attention to that when that guy hits. And we do close at 1 o'clock today, is that right? Or am I mistaken on that? I think it's today we close at 1. It's not the day after, right? All right. So, concept call questions. What are you guys feeling, right? So we had some very heavy vocal versions of concept calls, and like I said, you know, everything's a pretty chart. Psychology is the main crux of trading, right? Your decision making, your thought precedes actions. How you look at a chart is everything. Not what's on the chart so much, but it's what you can see in it, right? Rip Keef, Kazo, that shit was the bomb. Made your fingers sticky as fuck. Yeah. That shit, dude, when I find out they're de-keefing the bud, that just straight pissed me off. Like, bro, are you serious right now? I'll fucking slap a motherfucker for that. Like, get off my shit. So concept call has been focused on the cognitive part, right? Because part of having the intel and not using it anyway is that, like, it didn't look like what it was at the time that it needed to be perceived as such, right? And so the way you see things, you know, isn't always, like, all the information. So we all don't see the same picture. Having empathy gives you a window into how other people see things and realizing what they don't see, which is one reason we talk to people as consistently as we do. We want to know what your version of the Mona Lisa looks like and how far your idea of it differs from our idea of the Mona Lisa, right? Because the differential between what actually is and what you believe is where money's made, right? What we call the arbitrage of perception, right? Your differential, your fantasy versus, you know, what actually is happening in the world. And when people catch up to reality, right, those are the late buyers who buy the fully valued version of the reality they mispriced, you know. So it's a very visual thing in your head you got to picture. So how to make sure you think in a way where you can act on a thing that the average person doesn't see when it first emerges and actually has real value when few people know it. That's the problem, right? We have all the intel, we have NVIDIA. So what is the real problem that you could have intel in August 31st and nobody pay attention to that bull flag as it rotates through the murder cluster and he remembers it, All right, everyone's scooted up to like what's happened in the last 24 hours to 48 hours, and the news cycle and TikTok and all of the social media influences we have really have shortened people's like window of attention to very, very little, like to a childlike mind. It takes a different habit to not ride along with everybody, and we tried to get you guys to think about a thing differently and engage in a conversation that will keep you with a mental dexterity and habit the average person doesn't even know they're losing. And that's one of the craziest things, right? The average person doesn't know there's something even wrong with the way that their perception is shifting across time. They don't even know it's shifting across time. And staying in a conversational style that we have in Discord, is part of a habit to keep you in a place where you don't lose your cognitive capabilities. Like we call it the time value of conversations. We converse at like a 1990s level, something nobody has time for anymore because they're so busy copying their phone, replying to this and that fucking text message. But the side effect of fucking being in that world and reducing information, removing the emotional depth of conversation and the short attention span nature of it will translate now back into your work over here with people who don't suffer that affliction will kill you. Like guys like us who know that fucking dead bodies equal buying opportunities, and versus people who don't get it until right now. That differential is very costly. If you sat for 6 months and did nothing with this, it's a big mistake. So, right, what Izzy said, it's been wild to see the attention span change even from just Nebula 2 to Nebula 4. So Nebula 2 is summer of 2018, and it, as crazy as it sounds for guys our age, that's like just a moment ago. But for people like 2025, that's like, wow, that's back in the day, man. I know if you talk about something before, I was like, in high school, and I just came out of high school like, wow, that's ancient. I was in middle school then. But, your perception of time changes as you age. And 5 years ago is not as far as you think, but throw COVID into the middle of that, and something post-COVID, like, it's like the world actually got fucking dumber. Like, measurably so, at a speed that's so close to real time that it's unreal. Like, the kind of things that your grandpa would tell you disappeared across 30, 40 years seem to have disappeared across 3. And it's mind-blowing to watch. So, while we sat in the dungeon in Discord for a while, I'm not a big guy that likes to hang out with like anybody in the general public. I don't really fucking hang out with sheep. It preserved kind of where we were mental dexterity wise pre-COVID, and now post-COVID, talking to people is like talking to fucking like wet football leather. It's fucking crazy, but it's a thing. So, time value of conversations, it really is a thing. So, for all you guys that stay participating there, trust me, there's a point to it. It seems a little crazy, but we do have a point to what we're doing. What did I say, sir? Right. Oh, hang on. Before I have another alert blow your eardrums out, 1 second. I see this one. I'm like, did I forget to put on my fucking helmet? And then I realized I don't have to have my helmet today. It's kind of funny. Anyways, all right, alerts are off. The Twitter rate limit thing made me realize how much info we consume in real time. Did anybody really think you read as many messages as that rate limit thing does? And so I saw some interesting ideas about what exactly, the rate limiting thing is about. And I guess like to add some context to that, right? So I guess they're suggesting that AI is feeding off of the Twitter feed to scrape it. And within the AI, that's, all the chat GPTs, all those different programs, one person theorizes, well, the government is also using AI to scrape Twitter. And so, Elon said it, like, Twitter is kind of like the entire like neural net of Earth. It's got such an amazing cross section of people. It gives you a read on the planet in a crazy, crazy way. And what can happen is that then they can actually probe that and use AI to basically really control people by understanding a lot more about you and applying game theory type methods to your behavior that can, lead to crazy censorship. So Elon's cut off access to basically use, Twitter outside, and so cut off people from using Twitter, ChatGPT, and all kinds of programs to basically aggregate our behavior through Twitter. Whether that's the altruistic reason that he's done what he's done, I'm not positive, but I thought that was an interesting take, worth consideration, because at the end of the day, that Twitter is a weapon that can be used, in crazy ways, not just reading price of people, but reading whole populations. And, like I said, Hillary Clinton is known for having, funded through the State Department the collapse of Tunisia by creating campaigns to rally people to basically divide them around an election and turn them against one another. That's how the Arab Spring was really done, was a massive Twitter campaign to change the sentiment of the population and turn them in on themselves and create civil war. So what all can be done in the AI era of Twitter, even with Chinese who have issues with us, that could be looking at Twitter to manipulate population sentiments and dynamics around elections or more, That's an angle I didn't really give much thought to until I I saw this video somebody dropped in the channel. And it was definitely interesting. I think it was from a guy from Google stating that that could be the real reason that Elon cut it off, is that basically the people are basically a target. So it's pretty interesting thought. Guess we have to see where it goes from here. For right now, the effects of rate limiting Twitter, while the data scraping, is still pulling as much as it can, it creates an effective bottleneck, in his network, and effectively creates a DDoS for his network by what he's doing. But at the end of the day, right, unless he has a way to stop them from pulling data, this is going to probably still cause a problem. So be curious to see what he does to fix this. Twitter's like emotional tools. Twitter is just a massive sample of the human population across the planet, all over the place in real time. There's nothing else like it, right? You don't have a read on any population like this. There's no access to data like this. I mean, it put away a lot of news services. Back in the day, to get real-time news that move markets, you had to subscribe to Bloomberg machines and shit like that. And Twitter provides there's a terror attack on the ground. You'll get a video from a person on the ground on Twitter before any news agency could ever report it. And it was such a mind-blowing concept. I tell you, we used to trade together, back in 2017, and there was a terror attack where a truck drove through a crowd, and a couple of different major attacks, but one where it drove through the crowd. And that came after one we'd seen before, where we couldn't believe the delay from when we saw it on Twitter to when it made it to actually impact the indexes. It was minutes. I'm not used to seeing any kind of delay like that. I'm like, that's impossible. That took so long to fucking get there, but it did. And the next time we saw a truck plow through a crowd, I think it was in France, I'm like, that should be a dump bar. And we looked, I'm like, no reaction yet. And I was like, it took minutes last time. Like, let's, I'm gonna short it. And three of us shorted it, and then it took 3 more minutes, and it went off a fucking cliff. I was like, holy fuck. I was like, there's not even a point to paying for premium news service. So when you look at the speed Twitter delivers news around the world, we're all fucking eyewitness news. So Twitter is more weaponizable than people really realize. There's funds actually actively probing Twitter for sentiment and getting mass consensuses on where people are bullish and bearish and things like that. So it's a database of information that is a window into the way the world thinks. I think it's an unbelievable social platform and really undervalued for what it is as a database that organizes data in such a fashion about the mood of the planet in real time. Elon is very, very aware of what it is useful for, and how it could be used against us also. So I think it's definitely interesting. I want to see him wait further to see what Elon does to get a real idea of what he's trying to do. That's a lot of words, right? But you know what I mean. Let's see. I miss using TweetDeck. I used to use TweetDeck back in the day. It was okay. That was an okay platform. I never really got into most of those third-party platforms. It seemed like more of a headache to use those things. I'm not really trying to stare at 4 fucking windows worth of fucking tweets. I kind of know what I'm looking for, Somebody said here, Joe said, I like the hunt, right? Speaking back in our concept calls, right? Hunter mindset versus a prey mindset is what you really have to have in the market. You guys think about Pride of Lions, there's 6 of those guys roaming through 10,000, wildebeest or gazelles or whatever. And the gazelle's all kind of unaware of danger, and the 6 of these guys targeting a little fawn or, I don't know, it was a fawn or, the baby one or an injured guy. And that's the dynamic in markets, right? Your market makers are hunting liquidity. They're hunting fucking gazelle. And you have to have that kind of mindset and that kind of focus. Not kind of I wonder what I could do today. And so it's a different attitude when you're a speculator versus mom and pop retail. We talk about training a smarter audience, and this show is for everyone in retail. To change their habits and stuff, to make their approaches different in markets. But you're also trying to embody the mindset of a speculator to find the next good idea before anybody else finds it. And that's a different kind of mindset than people who kind of moonlight in the market, like a When it's just something to trade today is because I happen to be around. That's the wrong mindset, right? You should actually show up because there's something that you're specifically targeting that you plan to fucking trade, not because I hope something emerges for me to find a great idea that no one's found and process it and act on it in a moment that I have to fucking spare. That's just not well prepared mentally, right? Yeah, what is it? He says there are ETFs like Buzz that try to include sentiment in its prospectus. That's interesting. Let me see if I can pull that guy up. Buzz. What is Buzz? VanEck Social Sentiment ETF. Haven't even seen that. Let's go bigger as. What does the thing do? Social sentiment. So am I supposed to get that the crowd, this is supposed to go after the crowd sentiment? Basically when the crowd has got negative sentiment, it falls. How does this guy work? I am curious about that. So the crowd was at like an all-time high sentiment here, and the market was too. And then corrective, structures came with the Fed policy. And the bottom here, right at Christmas, is when we talked about ever after winter solstice special. That was our highest view count, and it dropped as the market pumped. Yeah, if you can, give us a short blurb of what this guy's supposed to be telling us. I'm kind of curious. But it looks like he's tracking really the rotation of risk assets, just the same. And if it's a sentiment tracker, that would look like risk assets, right? Risk assets are inverse mass crowd sentiments. I always tell you guys sentiment things, right? Just sell anytime Meek Mill talks about crypto. That's pretty funny. Track performance of 75 large cap US stocks which exhibit highest degree of positive investor sentiment and bullish perception based on content aggregated from online sources including social media, news, articles, blogs, and other alternative databases. So if that's true, right, those guys should be cut off from doing their data research from Twitter, which is definitely going to be part of this fun social sentiment. So that's interesting. Elon's going to impact anybody who structures shit like this, even in the ETF space, around fucking algos probing Twitter. That thing's lost a step right now. If with Elon's cut them off, he's cut them off too. That's pretty fascinating. It is 52 minutes, niggas. I'm going to get you guys into, what are we looking at here? War stories. Did you guys give me a war story? What the hell is my fucking Reddit? All right, what do we got? Manifesting and fighting the drift. I like that. That sounds very, very clever. I'm always interested in that story. Let's see. Who's the first one? Oh man, who gave me a book without a book warning? Serdar. This weekend, I made some trades, had some big winners and losers, and sold. What is this? Sold good learning. And sold good learning. I took from that. One of these trades, I really stood out, and it was my own fault. I traded BTC and it looked pretty good. I stood in this trade for nearly 2 days just to get stopped out for a stupid reason. Price nearly touched my take profit, and I was so afraid of losing profits, more like fear of success, because at the time I didn't take profits, so didn't have profits. Okay. And I changed my stop loss to my entry, which was the big mistake, right? If you change your stop loss to your entry before your trade really progresses, then you change the risk profile of the trade. You change the actual trade you were speculating on, right? Your risk is a sunk cost that you have committed to being willing to lose for a chance at an opportunity. When you have not gotten to like your set targets and you change that risk structure, you change the trade, and most people don't realize that, well, I'm trying to protect losses, but you're actually denying yourself the risk you put on the table to have a chance to work for that opportunity. So protecting profits, you end up protecting yourself out of profits a lot of times. Which was my basic. I know Kaz said this many times that you shouldn't adjust your stop loss because losing money is a cost of doing business. Yeah, see, I'm repetitive. But as I was so driven by emotions and ignorant thinking this time, it is the right thing when Kaz says, A, don't do fucking B. Okay? I don't know how that works. There's the ISM number, says be careful, motherfuckers. That was like crazy looking. Okay, so let me get what you're saying here. And as you can see, the price dropped for just 2 minutes exactly to where my stop loss was, and if I hadn't changed it at all, I would still be in this position. So the fear of losing gains made me lose my gains. Yeah, it's exactly like a negative manifestation, right? Somebody had a manifesting quote up there, but when you get focused on like my gains, it doesn't really matter if you're thinking about losing, or winning them. They're just the main focus in your way, right? And so you're gonna manifest something really terrible if you're like full of fear on top of it. It was really hard for me, but I thought about the chats we had in Eco, and activity told myself, that this can happen, and that the only thing I can do is learn from that. It was a stupid ass mistake, bit that doesn't mean I am bad or I will never make it, right? It's not the end of the world, so don't let it fucking make you feel that way. I can understand how it does, though. I remember talking good to yourself. What's this? I remember talking good to yourself because the universe listens, and it helped me to get over it better and to understand that making mistakes like these are just based on my own ignorance on ignoring Kaz's advice. Well, just stick to your plan. It's not so much my advice. It's just stick to your plan, right? You came in with a plan. Let it happen, right? And, it was obviously a well thought out plan. It was bullish, and just leave your risk on the table. There's nothing else on that. Let it see what happens, take the loss, and move on. And make sure the loss, if what you're risking is so big you can't let it play out, then you may have too much on the table too. This is why you're worried about adjusting it. Something we talked about, I think, on last week's show, right? If you're betting too much of your stack, you're gonna be kind of emotionally jarred. If you don't feel anything, you probably didn't bet enough. But there comes a place where there's like a sweet spot to it, and you have to kind of like take the risk that's appropriate that lets you play enough times and not fucking lose your stack if you have a statistical run that's way outside the lines of your normal fucking win rates. I would lie if I say it didn't affect me. I still feel bad with losing a trade, not because of the money in the first place I played and the amount of money. I played with the amount of money, and I'm comfortable with the risk, but because I just got stopped out again, I made another losing trade. The fact that I lost again, or that I lose even when I had some good winners, fucks me up, as well as the fear of losing gains. Okay, but as I said, actively talking good to myself and reminding myself that I am in this position where I think bad of myself to help me not losing confidence in myself. I felt way better than before. It really drives you crazy when you're just underperforming when you're talking bad to yourself. Well, yeah, it's not going to help you any, right? There's the negative talk isn't going to add anything to your fucking trade. It's going to fucking put you in a mental state that makes it hard to get the comeback trade, right? So that's the kind of thing you don't want to have happen to you. You don't want to put yourself in such a state of mind you can't act. As we talked about Void Dweller, people were not in a mental place to act, and that's what took them away from the opportunity to come back, right? You had a bad trade, but you can come back from it. But if your mind's in a different place to make a mechanical choice, then you're going to make an emotionally influenced choice on the back of that decision, which is going to actually exacerbate your problem, right? So, yeah, negative self-talk is a conversation with the universe. It's definitely important to think about that as as corny as it sounds, what you put out there does come back to you. So maybe some of you had this experience, are still struggling with it, and it's helped you a bit. I also write down things that I made good or made improvements in. So only see the bad stuff. Some also said looking at analyzing winning trades, not only losing ones, actually common sense study what worked and what helped me. Right. So don't just analyze your winners, analyze both and the mental state that you're in to do both. That's going to give you a more well-rounded picture of how you make choices under stress, in big winning streaks, in big losing streaks. And over time, you're going to have a body of data that's going to help you actually recalibrate a lot. But you have to record, all of it. And you can't just sit there and say, well, I don't want to discuss my winners. That's not going to be useful to you at all. Thanks for the great talks last days. Biggest problem is still mental game, but progress is made last days, and especially moments like these. Thanks for reading. For sure. I think that's useful. That's a good worst way to just put out some of your thoughts. I think a lot of people deal with. I think a lot of people kind of want to put out like the best possible story over here to kind of have it sound good on the show, but the real gains that are made in talking about stuff like this, that affects everybody who's out there trading with you, So I think this is great for you to share that with us. I appreciate it. Semi-book alert. All right, one book a show, motherfuckers. That was a book. So we'll come back, we'll read that in the next one. I like that. I think it was pretty good. What do you guys think? Anybody want to share any insights that you have that, talk on what he's saying? Because everybody deals with that stuff, right? Next time writing book alert. It's all good. I got it in there. Yep, energy goes where attention flows, right? Also true. Another good tip is managing risk is thinking percentages. Whether it's 1% of your stack or whatever like that. It doesn't matter if you have 10 grand or 500,000. You're thinking about like risk in terms of percentages. And if you start to focus on like this amount of dollars, it will just seem worse to you if you treat it that way. So what he's saying is definitely true. That's why in the room we just deal with ours. We don't deal with like, how much money do you lose? How much money do you make? We don't do any of that stuff, right? So definitely pretty important to change the way you think about it. Got that figured out now how to lose a mask. All right. So that being said, let's see. So I'm gonna get you guys to a macro and some symbols and get you out of here. It's a short day, so I want the markets to be done as soon as I fucking turn the show off. Let's see, where's this chart template for me? So SPY stuff. All right, where are we at in our little motion grid over here? Ragnarok stings. So there's our bull flag we talked about. He gapped this entire little range we had here, and he's sitting in the middle of this now. So our next target would be Goku shows interest in virtual real estate, which I think was the top of that also. So right now, we're inside this little area, and we talked about the Qs already at the beginning. This is just the broad market looking at him. So what did he do today? Opened over here, right? So nothing major. Qs, look at them more now since we're here. All right, struggling to get through that little high of the previous session. It's a couple wicks. We had the ISM. What did I put here? This is what is that? I don't know what this is. Weird squiggle. But yeah, you look and see if he can get out of here, right? Does he flag off of this and come back up again? It's possible. It's a holiday day. Does he go out of it right now somewhere in the session? Also possible. He's kind of got to wait and see and let him do his thing. Bigger resolutions and stuff like that. Backing up a little bit, right? Pretty healthy trend arc right now, much like NVIDIA in that kind of place, heading out here. You don't want to guess the top of something like that. He's at least in motion with some good momentum, right? And then a lot of his big caps that are pushing him are all looking pretty good still, right? Amazon, all these guys still have good structures. Told you Amazon's a little weak, but he could come back. He's just kind of a real slow grind. We gave you guys here a flag on top of the system, did a perfect one, and then it's pushed right out. So most of your mega cap guys are fucking dragging this up. A lot of people are like, well, not every stock is moving with this, but at the end of the day, right, these are the guys that set the benchmark for all the rest of the shitty neighborhoods. So they reprice first, and institutional money is repricing these first, and the biggest money is what moves it. Like I told you, retail doesn't move $1 trillion companies, not at all. So the fact that these guys were running like this was your first major indication that like not just murder cluster support was a good idea. There was some smart money that recognized that these things were mispriced, and when we got down to like crazy areas like Tesla down here, right, this created an insane opportunity. Now you got Tesla Q trying to short into a vicious pump that's over, just shy of doing a 2x out of the base, 3x out of the base, and the market's got momentum and the sentiment's just not there to buy it. So it's definitely an inflection point worth paying attention to. G, you okay? So Tesla things, NVIDIA things, all that good stuff. Let's see, we'll do. I'll talk about where is it? We'll do DXY then. DXY things. So we're watching him back up a little bit. And waiting to see if, with a strong risk asset base, generally your currency is not that strong. And we're watching some of these guys to see if this rotation, in euro can complete. The bull flag got a little bigger. The second projection for him to get a little bit bigger from this bull flag. He expanding range this flag even bigger. And still a chance we're still dealing with this rotation, and the dollar actually has a tailwind to the downside with risk assets being strong. GBP USD, right? This became a much bigger one, but still bull flag nonetheless. So we're kind of really tracking that. And then we talked about the yens, which is where we think the real bull market is right now, and they're still just absolutely ridiculous. So just to bring that into focus and keep those on the radar, right? That's what the yens are up to. Okay, VIX things. Well, watch this. The VIX is staying really suppressed, and see a lot of people betting on a VIX pop right now out there on Twitter. And at the end of the day, like, puts are really cheap, and so people really want to see the market come down. And really cheap puts are really attractive, and the VIX is kind of languishing down here. But we're still keeping tabs on this 39 level, which is the bottom of the COVID bull flag. And so if he gets life above this, right, that's not a good thing. So we're watching this in case he dips through it and comes back up. And we posted here, he could dip through and come back up. He's done that. So he flags here and goes, boom, we could get a little correction. So definitely keep this on your radar, right? And Trolex as a sentiment level here. Key level, if he gets to this point and blows out a major emotional level like what we saw in Trolex with an emotional spike in the VIX, we want to be well on top of that if that happens. So keep that on your radar. Set a nice loud alert for it now if it gets there. That's VIX, DXY, stocks, and then crypto things. So I told you guys to watch crypto into the weekend. Could be a crypto weekend. And the main thing was to pay attention to BTC dominance, right? Bitcoin dominance. If he kept pulling down, he would actually allow for some of the other guys to get some life to them, right? And we saw that in Litecoin BTC, and BCH got some life to it, and now we've seen ETH and some of these guys begin to rotate up. Pretty good squiggles, right, all the way. There was our forecast for what you could do on the angle, and there's what we thought in the flag, and so far, so good, right? Our emotional line inside Trolex here, this is Trolex 2 from summer, from August, is we have a mid-level in there, what I call it, 1931, right? Yeah, 1931 in the middle of this zone, but this is your whole box range to get out of the top of it, like about 2002. And like I said, the level I like, is about 2220 if he gets rotated up through this guy. And so good strength, broadly across crypto too, now that like BTC dominance is fading just a little bit. But again, if you zoom out, BTC dominance is only fading into what could potentially be a bull flag. If he recorrects and goes again, it's going to be a Bitcoin party again, right? So this is a very near-term situation that's allowing the rest of crypto to broadly push like it's doing. USDT.D, if we look at him, thrifty nigga Enoch was the top of this motherfucker again. And this fucking has dropped down here, flagging down. If it keeps doing this, right, here's the structure we wanted to see under this angle, flag, little bounce back, and then dump bar. If he does this, this will continue to allow risk assets to push in terms of like USDT, so, or be risk on. So we're paying attention to this right now, and next major level we care about in him is down here at like 6.62. So for right now, nothing to really give a shit about on him. BTC dominance fading is what's allowing for some of these bounces to happen. So we are still watching some of these ratios, like, not just LTC BTC, but ETH BTC, which on the very, very macro, is attempting a rotation on a very large scale bull flag that's been corrected from 2017. So this is just a janky fucking, like, what we call a mid-guard bull flag, or the middle of the overall structure. And we think it's still on its way to rotating to taking out like the all-time high, like the internet bubble. And up here, the sentiment should probably not be in a place where anybody wants it, much like the internet bubble all the way to the top, right? And we did that show in Reflections, right, talking about the sentiments in bull flags. If you guys don't remember that one, that was a very important show to go over how people don't feel the right way in the same place in bull flags across many assets in time, much like what's happened here in the rotation of the S&P. We think like from the middle to 2/3 of it, generally the crowd doesn't want it. This is like the Obama pump to take out the internet bubble. This is the place that people at least think is possible. And that is kind of the same place you are, like I told you, in the S&P. Like this rotation right now is akin to the exact same rotation in the banking crisis. When you get towards like 2011, nobody wants it, and like it goes much crazier. And you're in a place like, that far off the ground, nobody wants it, and they're flooding Tesla. You kind of got the right psychology for it. All right, so that's crypto things, right? Nothing else to really add on to that, I don't think. It affects crypto, VIX, dollar, stocks. All right, I think I got everything you guys need. Did you guys get all that? Good, robust conversation in chat. I dig it. Down under 100 viewers, so I guess that was a section everybody needed, right? Little macro things. Did we get any symbols today? Meow said, mindset after losing and wanted to make it back. Easy way to turbo new portfolio, right? What they call revenge trading. If you just trade without a plan, just on emotions behind losing, it's pretty much a recipe for disaster, right? You should never deviate from your plan. Let's see. I don't have that show up. 1 sec. All right, there it is. Somebody be asking Mosaic like every 5 fucking minutes. All right, where is this stock? I have this somewhere. We just did this. Literally just asked on the last show. Same place. Box range on top of this level here in the rotation of his bull flag. Could be a bull flag thrown back here. If he rotates back out of this, you know, best chance for him to make a comeback. I don't know why this arrow is sitting in the middle of nowhere, but it should be like that. Let's rotate this flag, right? So this little level area we gave here, the key box range right now, which is around the bull flag that launched him into this parabolic. If he rotates back out of here, I think he has a possibility. IXIC, the NASDAQ. You just asked that because you cover the NASDAQ every fucking 5 seconds. There's a NASDAQ, motherfucker. And this is the range to the top of this bull flag that most people shouldn't fucking give a shit. Sentiment-wise, right? The part that takes you always to the top of the bull flag, when you look at like banking crisis, part that takes you always to the top of the internet bubble, that part, like, you know, from the mid on, generally the sentiment is ridiculous. That's what allows it to get all the way back there, and people pretty much miss the whole thing. So if we're we're in a fractally similar position with regard to this flag's rotation, like here, if this is equivalent to 2011, nobody wanted shit from 2011 to 15, and it just left them all in the dust. Generational loss. So that's the sentiment of this. That just adds on to, you know, QQQs and stuff. But IXIC is a NASDAQ, and we cover that in the Qs. You wrote IXIC fractal. I hope that's what I just described, because if you wrote fractal with anything else, I don't know what you're talking about. Beans USD will come after that. PL1 platinum futures. Oh shit. Well, thank God. That bitch is done. I always love when I pop up on something that's totally done. Sweet. It wasn't like a different platinum fucking symbol. So what we talked about here wasn't a big ass bull flag, good trigger. He's in the very low part of the bull flag yet, so he's not really gotten gas to rotate up out of it. So consider this like 2009, 2010. About up here, he'll be in the 2011 area. I think we always can keep using that, right? So 2011 area, and this is the sentiment when, if this is here, probably a big bet against commodities is happening, right? And you know, with gold kind of sitting where he's at and stuff, wrong gold chart. Gold, right? He's sitting up top. He's the stronger of the two precious metals. Looking at his rotation at the top of his flag, if he can come out of here, right? There would probably be a pretty broad-based precious metals rally going on if platinum found his way to rotate this also. So, you know, when he's a little weaker, you'd kind of have to pay attention to, you know, I think gold would be the guy that gives away that, you know, you have a broad precious metals move happening. Platinum does get included into like industrials because, you know, you have like platinum in your catalytic converters in your cars and shit like that. But there was a time period that, you know, platinum was worth more than gold, and that was what people were rocking around their necks. So, yeah, I think you're just waiting for this to see what he does. And this resolution is pretty far back. If I like jump in a little bit, right, pretty epic pullback here, and I think you're watching him on bigger reses to see what he does. So I thought he could pull back and possibly break out. He did get the higher high. It's a 2B on this, it's a 2B possibly on that, right? So maybe on a lower res, you could define like, dude, am I retarded? Don't answer that. All right, that. And so this is the fuck move of fuck moves, right? Stop run those motherfuckers into a long, wreck them on the bottom, stop run them into a short, force people into a short, wreck those guys. So build a position out of this, kill everybody in, what did I just do? Wrong way. Kill everybody in that range. And I think you pay attention to, what? Boy, I'm weird. I think you pay attention to this range here, so let's back up a little bit. Yeah, so he basically created an expanding formation around that level. So I think if he gets back up into this range now, this is a much better trigger zone for him to rotate fully out of here and go, start to target a higher rotation up the bull flag. So I think you wait for him to come back into this. And something like along those lines you're playing. All right, that's him. Let's see, where's the other one? GE, I know we did GE. I think we did on this chart, GE. There it is, sweet. So GE is a mega bull flag that might be in fucking kind of keeping with even Japan's scale. Japan is from 1989 down to 2009, right? So Japan's bull flag is a 30-year bull flag. Really fucking epic. This motherfucker is up there in kind of a massive size. It's an internet bubble bull flag on GE. He has literally been correcting for 20 fucking years, but he's a bull flag nonetheless. And my favorite saying with this is, what if, niggas? What if? What the fuck cycle is GE pointing at if he's gonna pull some shit like that out of the fucking bag? So interesting, right? I don't know what the heck's going on back here. Oh, it's a bunch of wave stuff. I have to just delete it so I can see. So that's what we're dealing with down there. Down low on that guy when we talked about him, right? Remember last we talked about this? Remember that grindy action has a chance to correct that way and then rotate that way. So far he's still pushing the channel this way, right? With the bull in the move in equities right now, he's still tracking out, still stretching, but this looks kind of stretched. He could use a bigger correction, and if he did this and rotate up again, it would look pretty good, and it would be a system above this level. So on big res and lower res, he looks pretty interesting. Look for, I think look for a little correction against this like rising channel, and if he does it and rotates back up, he can continue the trend with the market. The market looks good too. Canada CAD USD. Let's see USD CAD. Have anything on that? So there's where I have USD CAD. So looking at, can CAD get strength on the dollar along with the rest of the things that are moving on DXY? It's possible. He's not been the best of breed in North America. It's been the Mexican peso. So like, you talk about CAD USD. If you look at these two guys, you say, well, who's actually really running? Mexico USD is the real strength, right? Lately. So when we look at like the stable base, like Mexico's been going fucking ape shit. You can see a little bit of that correlation in Canada, but within the United States and North America, not the United States, within North America, right, Mexico is disproportionately stronger than Canada. So I think that's where your real bull move still is. And you can see that reflected too, if you go to things like, CAD JPY, right, you'll see the same thing, right? CAD JPY looks like this, but Mexican JPY looks fucking insane, right? So that's where the real bull market against the US dollar in North America is. Oh, wrong chart, sorry. CAD USD. I know I have shit on this chart. Where is it? There it is. I'm like, motherfucker, I knew I'd do something. So, right, this is kind of where CAD USD in America are. They're pretty much at a chop, like, sideways range for a good period of time. Mexico USD is rotating that. Not quite the same, right? So probably keep them both on your radar. As the dollar is the main target, who's getting weaker, right? Both of these guys are making moves on it, but some people look stronger than others. Also depends on your time frame you're looking at, right? If you're up close. Boyle, what is Boyle? Ultra Bloomberg Natural Gas. Jesus fucking Christ. This is some degenerate shit right here. Boyle. Can't even see that. Okay. I'm not gonna help you kill yourself, so I'm gonna skip that guy. Yeah, that's crazy. NFT price floor. Where are we at? Beans. So these things got absolutely fucking destroyed after they said these guys were third-class citizens right behind elementals, and basically Beans holders dropped it on his face for that. So they never made it through this like little 140 hard wall here. So it was like it was about like 140, 150 right to those areas they got to. They could have some gas, it just didn't make it. Like I said, like beware of airdrops. They could have disastrous effects if it's a known event thing. And that ultimately came home to roost, right? We told you that with the Zukis, and it literally fucking decimated the market the way they did that airdrop. And especially because they were fucking terrible, right? Did anybody see those things? I don't know if we had this show to talk about. They were like the cheapest looking shit ever. So at any rate, right, beans right now don't have good levels down on this, but I think you're kind of watching like a range down here. You know, can they hold the floor? Maybe. I think it's risky now with the kind of dump you've had. You know, I think down to 38, probably not much to lose. They're gonna have to try to do something to save it. I think Zagabond will try to save it. You know, how far it could get right now, his initial dump and the emotions of it. It's a pretty good range as far as a big discount has had this close up. It could have like a, you know, a relief rally, but I think, you know, that he's loaded with so much news. NFT space is like pretty much an NFT winter. You know, you're fishing in the bottom of something that's really weak, and we always talk about best of breed things. I think I think there's probably like there's no need to rush into the NFT space right now. I think you want to see somebody do something more than figure out how to fucking fleece their holders. And right now, everyone's just trying to figure out clever ways of getting more out without really delivering anything that you could say is a product. You know, it's just a community build and a slow rug every time. So I don't know. Right now, I think you kind of wait and see attitude's kind of better in this space. And could you get a little bounce within this range that you see? Yeah, maybe. It's a good low back over here, right, of 0.39. And that's where this entire pump came from. And it's where the pump for most NFTs from last year that did pump really well came from right here in the back of August. So technical level wise, right, he's got a chance to bounce and just support. I think that is possible. But again, like I think there's a lot of things out there that you can fire your capital at that already are in like good structure that show strength that have a lot less risk tied to them and a lot less liquidity issues also. Heads up on boil ETFs. That thing is affected by contango and on oil futures, just like VIX. So it has decay effect on the product. Yeah, I think so, right? That little sentence is above like 95% of the viewers' pay grade to even know what the hell that even means and what that decay effect is when you're rolling contracts. So like that thing is very dangerous. Like it's gonna work for you intraday to be like, you know, leverage play intraday. Overall, anything beyond that, holding it, it's gonna evaporate as like roll costs eat that thing up into dust. And a lot of people don't understand why it seems to be going down to the floor like that. And if you don't understand it and you don't understand the prospectus or haven't read it, don't touch products like that. It'll get you fucking killed. But yeah, I think that's it in a nutshell. So shit, it is a holiday shortened day. Don't go out there and get yourself killed. Y'all enjoy the holiday if you're stateside, or you'll take a break if you're not. Remember, markets are still moving in other parts of the world, even if they're not moving here. They may or may not move as aggressively with the U.S. down. For you guys killing the Japan trade, awesome stuff. I love seeing that. For you guys playing the French trade while France burns, you know, unfortunately, right, if people are dying, we buying, and it works everywhere. So, y'all stay safe out there. You know, I'll set up another concept call probably next week. I think, you know, it's not going to be scheduled. Show up. If you guys have been in the room now showing up for us when we do them, and we just pull up and have a convo, you see that they have a much greater effect than when you try to schedule value. You know, and I say set up, I just mean like I'm going to take this week away for doing concept calls just with the holiday shortened week, and you know, just be aware. Next week we'll be on there to have those, and I'll try to make sure I have them in the hours for, you know, folks on the other side of the planet, where you have a chance to join if you're available and you're around. So shout out to Lifted and everybody that threw some bits of the show. Respect Bitcoin Bowser. Welcome to Guardians. I will catch you motherfuckers on the flip. Stay safe, niggas. Peace.
Welcome to Winternomics.eth. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome
Oh yeah, CloneX niggas. We're gonna have a CloneX Classic meeting today to go over some stuff that I discussed with Artifact and just kind of follow up on some BD things. So y'all niggas will be around at some point, like maybe after lunch or some shit. I'll hit y'all up. So stay loose. Alright niggas, now I'm gone.
Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly.